On this episode of Brewing Around the Realm, White Labs has delivered a vial of new Nordic ale yeast. That's WLP611. I'm going to brew up a Belgian Dubbel. Stay tuned to find out how.
Find new and unusual craft beers with Tavour. There's no commitment and you only pay for the beer you want. Sign up today using the Brewing Around the Realm promo code below or the link in the description to save $10 on your first order.
This is Brewing Around the Realm. I'm Dave, your amateur brewmaster, and what I have here is a vial of Nordic ale yeast straight from the White Labs yeast vault. This is WLP611. I purchased it a good while ago, and it was only recently released from the vault. If you're unfamiliar with the White Labs yeast vault, I will add a link in the description below so you can take a look at it. It gives you the opportunity to buy new and unusual yeast strains directly from White Labs. These are strains that are not necessarily available at your local brew shop, and they do not get released very often. Today's beer was directly inspired by today's yeast choice. We're going to brew a Belgian Dubbel. It's going to be 8%, and there's not a whole lot to talk about, so let's get to the ingredients. Today's recipe comes from Craft Beer and Brewing magazine. I will put a link to that in the description. Let me read off today's grain bill. It is 5 pounds of Maris Otter, 4 pounds of Belgian Pilsner, 1 pound of Munich, 1 pound of Victory, 1 pound of wheat, 8 ounces of Carapils, 8 ounces of Special B, and 2 ounces of Black Patent. That's going to make something pretty dark, but it does fit in with the style. The rest of our ingredients are dark Belgian candy syrup. This is something I've been wanting to use in a beer for a while, and it's part of the reason we're brewing today's Belgian Dubbel. I had Hallertau Mittelfru on hand, so that's the hops we're going to use today. I'm going to use gypsum, Morelfloc, baking soda, since I had such good success with the baking soda last time. And here's some yeast nutrient, and of course I've already talked about the WLP611. It's time to mash in. Let's get going. I always fill up the mash tun with boiling water, so I always have to get that drained out. Today's grain temperature was 64.7. Our target mash temperature is 150 for today. It's a 75-minute mash. And that gave us a water temperature of 169. Just going to go for it and dump the grain in. Give it a good stir. And I figured we were going to come close to the top again. That's why I only used 15 quarts of water today versus the recommended 16.3. That is it. Come back every couple of minutes here. Give it a good mix. That'll keep your efficiency up. Don't forget to fill up your hot liquor tank and get your sparge water heated up as well. You want to make sure you do that while your mash is going, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. While I'm waiting for the mash, I always measure out my other ingredients. That includes hops. We'll need a teaspoon of gypsum, 5 teaspoons of yeast nutrient. I know a lot of people only put 1 teaspoon in, but I mean, it says here on the label 1 teaspoon per gallon. So I always just go for 5. And of course, always make sure you throw in your 1 Morelfloc tablet. Again, a lot of the recipes call for half a tablet, but I find it easier just to throw a whole one in there. At the same time, I've got the yeast out, and I've got it sitting here on the counter. And I'll leave it sit here. The vials I leave sit here upside down on the counter. That way I can get all the yeast out when I'm ready to go. For those that are curious, you can see that my standard pH of water that's coming out of the tap is pretty high. It's at 8.3. As you can see here, our mash pH is almost at 5, and it really needs to be at 5.5 or 5.6. So I'm going to add another teaspoon of baking soda to the mash. Looks like the pH came up a little bit, but I'm going to stop messing with it. And I think I need to do a little bit more research on figuring out pH balance. Up here, so I'm going to do a conversion test. I'm rather concerned. This is so dark, it's not even going to matter, but yeah, we're good. So first running's got me just under 2.5 gallons. There's an extra step in today's brew day. I need to get the Belgian candy syrup into here. So while I'm waiting for the first sparge to run, I'm going to do this, and we'll get the hops and everything ready to go. In go our first wort hops, which is 1 ounce of Hallertau middle screw. While that is running in, I'm going to open the candy syrup and dump this in. And that is 16 ounces of candy syrup. Alright, give that a good mix, make sure all that's dissolved. Okay, the first sparge is going to go right into the pot, and I think this is going to get us pretty close to where I need to be. Mix this up real good. Pre-boil gravity reading here. 16.4 comes out to be a gravity of 1064. It's probably a little low for what I want, but I'll make some adjustments if I need to. This is up to a boil, so I'm going to dump in my gypsum and set the timer for 60 minutes. This only requires 1 hops addition at 20 minutes. So this is actually a pretty simple brew and boil for this one today. Alright, down to 20 minutes. I'm going to throw in this ½ ounce of Hallertau. 15 minutes left, in goes the Whirlflock and yeast nutrient. Our 1 hour boil time is up. I get the lid on there. Time to cool that off. I have the wort cooled down to 80 degrees, so I'm going to start scooping this in here. I do this to filter out any extra true or hops that are still floating around in the kettle. I did sanitize everything before I did this, so the bucket, the sieve, and the container were all sanitized. Ended up just under 4.5 gallons, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to leave this at that. I'm not going to try to adjust this to get my 5 gallons out of this. It's close enough for me. I took another gravity reading. Came out at 1073, which is only 1 point away from what my predicted gravity was, and I am perfectly fine with that. I'm going to leave it go and get this into the fermenter. Time for the yeast. Get this dumped in here. Whoa! Well, that was not what I expected. This is what happens when you leave it sit on the counter for that long. I want to thank everybody for watching today's video. Please remember to click that subscribe button up in the corner if you're not a subscriber, and give today's video a thumbs up. It really helps me get the word out, and I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to stop by Tavour.com You can do that by clicking the Brewing Around the Realm /Tavour link in the description below or on the website. You'll save $10 on your first craft beer order, and you can find new and unusual beers with Tavour. Till next time, happy brewing. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.